The perimeters of the triangles shown are equal. Find the side lengths of each triangle. So what a perimeter is the distance completely around. So you would simply add up all the sides to find the perimeter of each triangle. So you add up these three sides to find the perimeter of triangle A, B, and C. Add these three sides to find the perimeter of triangle P, Q, and R. So to do that, we combine our like terms. So we have 2x plus 2x plus 2x, which is 6x, plus 8 plus 7 is 15. So 6x plus 15 for the first triangle. For the second triangle, we have 2x plus 2x plus 3x, which is 7x, plus this 5 will be 7x plus 5. Now to find x that would make them equal, we would have to set those expressions equal to each other, and then we'd solve for x. So let's do that. So start by moving the smallest variable, which is 6x, so subtract 6x from both sides. We have 15 equals x plus 5. Subtract 5 on both sides, you'll get 10 equals x. Now we know what x is. What we need to do to find each side length is substitute in 10 for x for each and every side length. So for AB, we have an expression of 2x plus 8. Substitute 10 in. 2 times 10 is 20, plus 8 is 28. BC, we have 2x plus 7. Substitute in 10 for x. 2 times 10 is 20, plus 7 is 27. AC is just 2x, so that's just 2 times 10, which is 20. Now let's find the three sides of the other triangle. So we have 2x, which we already determined is going to be 20 by substituting in 10. 2x again is going to be 20. And then we have 3x plus 5, so we have 3 times 10 is 30, plus 5 is 35. Now if we did this correctly, these three added up, and then these three added up should give you the same number. The first three numbers added up gives you 75. The second three numbers added up gives you 75. So that means it's correct because those are our perimeters. And that's going to be your answer. Each of these numbers here is going to be each of the answers that go inside here.
Solve for k. The equation is c equals 8 over 3 all times k minus 46. Now notice we have more than one letter in this equation. What we need to do is highlight the letter that we're solving for so we know everything has to be moved away from that. First thing we take care of is this fraction that has to be moved first. To get rid of the fraction, we can multiply both sides by the reciprocal of that. Reciprocal is just a fraction flipped upside down, so we're going to multiply both sides by 3/8. So here we have 3 over 8 times c equals 3 over 8 times 8 over 3. 3 over 8 times 8 over 3 is just 1. A reciprocal times the original fraction is just 1. So we have 3ac equals k minus 46. Now all we do to get k by itself is add 46 to both sides, and the answer is going to be 3 over 8c plus 46 equals k. Notice how I didn't change capital C anywhere or lowercase k. I kept it that way throughout the whole problem. You have to keep it that way throughout the whole problem too. We can't just make the c lowercase or the k capitalized, or else it changes the equation. Number 14, it says solve the equation for y and then find the value of y for each value of x. So we have our equation here, y plus 6x equals 11, and then it has my values of x, which is x equals -1, x equals 0, and x equals 3. So now we got to solve the equation first. So first, since we're solving for y, we got to move the 6x away from that. To do that, we subtract 6x on both sides, and we'll get y equals 11 minus 6x. So now that's my equation that I will type in, which I'll show you at the end how to do that. But now we're going to substitute each of these values in for x. So starting with -1, I'll have 11 minus 6 times -1. Multiply first, -6 times -1, you'll get positive 6, and 11 plus 6 is 17. So my first answer will be 17. Now substituting in 0. -6 times 0 is 0, so my answer is just going to be 11 for the second one. For the third one, substitute in 3 for x. So -6 times 3 is -18, so 11 minus 18 will be -7. So now let's type all three of those in. So typing in our equation, the y equals is there, so we just type in the 11 minus 6x. Okay, now it says when x equals -1, the value of I is, that will be the number we got when we substituted -1 in. So substituting -1 in, and we got 17. When x equaled 0, we just had 11. And then when we substituted in 3, we got -7. Okay, so that would be number 14.
Solve the equation for y. We have yw plus yq equals r. And like I said, we're solving for y, so let's highlight the y's. Now notice that y is being multiplied by w and being multiplied by q. So the first step would be to undo that multiplying, which is called factoring. So we're going to undo that multiplying. So we're going to y on the outside of a parenthesis. Now we're going to undo that multiplying. You divide both of these by y, all you're left with is w for the first one. Divide both of these by y, all you're left with is q. So we'd have w plus q equaling r in parentheses. What we did was we undid distributing. So now what we're going to do is we still need to solve the equation for y. Notice all of this is being multiplied to y. We need to move all of that away from it. And all of that is being multiplied to y. So undoing multiplying, we divide. So we divide both sides by w plus q. W plus q's go away on this side. And all we're left with is y equals r over w plus q. And that's going to be the answer. X equals b minus g over v, and we're solving for b. So let's highlight the b, so we know everything else has to move away from it. Seeing how this is in a fraction, we should get rid of that fraction first. So to do that, we cross out the v and bring it to the other side and multiply it to x. So we'll have vx equals everything that's left over here after crossing the v out, which is b minus g. Again, we're still solving for b, so to solve for b, we got to move this g. It's being subtracted, so we add g on both sides. So then we'll have vx, capital X, remember, plus g equals b, and that's going to be the answer. Number 17, we have a equals xv plus x, and you're solving for v. So we start by highlighting the v. Next, we have to move everything away from this term to get the v by itself. So we start by moving this x. Since it's being added, we do the opposite, which is subtraction. So we subtract x on both sides. So we'll get a minus x equals xv. Again, highlight the v. You got to move this x now away from it. When they're next to each other, it means they're being multiplied. To undo multiplying, we divide. So we divide both sides by x, and that will give us the answer of a minus x over x equals v. Again, notice, capital A, lowercase x's, and lowercase v. We cannot be changing that around. And that's the answer for number 17. We are solving a equals p plus prt for r. So highlight the R, and now we got to move everything away from that. So the first thing we got to do is get this whole term here by itself. So that means we got to move this away from it. To do that, we subtract p from both sides because it's positive and in the front, and these two terms are being added. So we'll have a minus p equals prt. Again, we're trying to get the r by itself. Now we notice that p, r, and t are all being multiplied to each other. To undo multiplying, we divide. So to get r by itself, we divide p and t on both sides. So our answer is going to be a minus p over pt equals r.
Solve for m. A equals 1 over 3 pi x squared m. So we're going to highlight the m. So we have to move everything away from that. Let's start by moving the fractions. So we cross out 3 in the denominator and bring it to the other side and multiply it to a. So we have 3a equals everything that's left, which is pi x squared and m. And it's understood there's a 1 there, so we don't have to write that. So again, remember we're solving for m. So pi x squared and m are all being multiplied. To undo multiplying, we divide, because dividing is the opposite of multiplying. So we divide both sides by pi x squared, and we'll have m on the right equaling 3a over pi x squared. And that's going to be the answer. Just remember, capital letter A, lowercase x and m.
Solve the equation for the given variable. So we have c equals, all in parentheses, s plus k over 3 times f for s. So we're solving for s, so let's highlight that. Before we can even think about touching the s, we are going to need to get rid of the f first, so we can get rid of our parentheses. So this f we see is multiplying everything here. So to undo that, we divide. So we divide both sides by f, and we'll have c over f equals s plus k over 3. Now we notice s is up top of a fraction. To get rid of that fraction, we cross the 3 out and bring it to the other side and multiply it to the fraction. Just write the 3 up top with the c. So we have 3c over f equaling s plus k. Now to get the s by itself, we got to move to k, and we do that by subtracting k on both sides since k is being added. So our answer is going to be 3c over f minus k equals s. Just remember, capital C, lowercase f, k, and s.